Emily and the Express. Meanwhile at Kelsthorpe, Emily was pulling a goods train and had to stop at a signal when the station master walked up. "Gordon has broken down," he told her. "Can you leave your trucks here, then go and find him and pull the express?" "Me pull the express? Yes, sir," she said excitedly. And with that, Emily went off to uncouple her trucks before setting off to find Gordon.
Alright, so we get to play as Emily now, which is pretty cool. You'll also notice that a precedent has been broken here. My webcam footage is now... I don't know what's happening. I mean, you could see it now. I'm stepping on the gas and she's not going anywhere. Oh, do I have to... Yeah, no, I don't have to uncouple yet, right? Oh, jeez. Emily's just very slow, maybe? I wasn't giving her enough time? I don't know. Anyway, this is not going to go well in terms of the express line, but, yeah, a precedent has been broken. My webcam footage is mirrored and on the other side now because I felt it necessary. Past couple episodes I've been playing and you haven't really been able to see the speedometer or the brake controls and whatnot. Oh god, speaking of which, I don't know what her brakes are like, so I should start slowing down now. It does seem like each train is a little bit different in terms of acceleration, in terms of braking, but yeah. So I think I'm just like pulling up to stop here to drop my my trucks here. I'm like throttling the gas. Oh, okay, yeah, so I'm just turning around is what I'm actually doing. But yeah, I've never actually flipped my webcam like this before. But like I said, for the past couple of episodes, there's nothing down in the bottom left corner that you, the viewing audience, would care to see. Or need to see or whatever. So, but there is the speedometer and the acceleration and what have you on the other side, where my webcam is traditionally at. So I felt it necessary to kind of flip things around for this, or for this, the remainder of this Let's Play series, frankly. But it's cool because then I'll have this available. It took a couple seconds to get it situated, but now that it's situated, I can kind of have this option in the future in case any game is comparable to this. I know mini-maps are very often in the bottom right corner, so games with mini-maps like that, I might lean towards using this view instead, or this format instead. And we're off the rails. Holy crap, dude. Hold on. I gotta come down here and investigate this. Hot damn, dude. That is a flawless, near tragic situation. Impressive, Emily. Impressive stuff. Let's get on out of here. After that kind of wheeling and dealing, let's get on out of here. Let's get to the express line. I kind of want to open it up and see how, Alright, boom. Oh, you know what? Emily's speedometer does actually go up to 125 as well. So in theory, she should be able to hit some express line speeds like Gordon does. Was I supposed to flip a switch back there? No. Okay, it's just around this bend. I saw it looked like it was around that bend over there, and I got nervous, like I missed a manual switch or something. But the game says I should be going like 75 right now, so I'm gonna pick it up from my 43 and get up to 75 miles an hour. Because we are about a mile away from our next checkpoint here. It's a nice, beautiful fall day, crisp fall day here in Sodor, seemingly. Dovetail Games, if you're watching this for some reason, if you're consuming content on YouTube that your fans are creating, please, now that I'm looking at like the fall weather and fall foliage and whatever, please roll out DLCs for this game for like Halloween and like Christmas specials and whatever, like the Thomas Show has. That'd be so fun and adorable and all the things. I really am having like a really unironically fun time playing this game. Which, like, when I first saw the launch trailer, or not the launch trailer, but like the reveal trailer, I don't know what the timeline was. I saw the first trailer I saw was like a month or two ago, maybe. I think it was like, it probably was like early February 2026 here. And then like a couple weeks after I saw that, I saw there was a release date attached to it, and here we are. The full game has been released. Yeah, it seemed like a really, really short window between the reveal or the announcement trailer and the launch of the game, which, like, I'm not opposed to. I don't know how long they've been cooking this game up, but it's a lot of fun. I think we're good to still be going pretty fast. We're like 2.4 miles until the end game, I think, so, or until where we're supposed to be heading. But yeah, like, there's already a James add-on, which I purchased the deluxe version of the digital game here on Xbox Series X. So I got the James add-on, which I think it said, like, it gives you, like, one, it unlocks James as a playable character at some point, but also, two, it unlocks, like, 4 additional stories, I think, where James is the main playable train. So that's cool. For anybody who's not familiar with Thomas, James is the red one. But yeah. So I'm excited to get in and play as James eventually, as I'm playing as Emilly for the first time in the game right now. But yeah, I would love to see DLCs down the line. Again, I know the game just launched, so like, no pressure or anything in the near future. And I'm sure y'all probably have some ideas over at Dovetail Games, assuming the game sells enough, enough copies up front to make it a viable thing to roll out more DLC. But I did my part, and I plan on buying a physical copy eventually too, because I'm a physical collector. I really, really hate buying digital copies, but the digital copy the digital version of the game rolled out already, and the physical copy isn't until like maybe next month or something. So I'm gonna buy a physical copy once it's released on physical. But in the meantime, I didn't wanna wait before playing the game. So they're getting double the money out of me, and maybe that was the intent. I don't know. Maybe they had anticipated that kind of thing. I'm slowing down way too fast. I have like another 600 yards before I have to potentially stop and wait. Oh, is that? Oh yeah, that's Gordon. He looks thrilled. Alright, but maybe now I should be slowing down significantly. Alright, we're good. We're good-ish. Alright, there we go. So are you gonna make me come to a complete stop, or what are we doing here? I mean, now we're coming to a complete stop, I believe. And I'm gonna start that process now. Beautiful. And now I have to reverse, I guess? Oh, I have to pull Gordon. Okay. I have to couple to the front of Gordon. Which, like, as a kid... I think my brain, like, as a kid, I definitely acknowledged, like, when Thomas was, like, backing up to couple Annie and Clarabelle, for example. Their faces were, like, right up what you would anatomically assume is, like, his butt. And now Emily's about to back this big old train badonkadonk up on Gordon's face. But, like, I guess that's... I was mentioning in an earlier episode of the Let's Play series that, like, they did a really good job of, like, building these characters around the confines of the fact that they have to go front and back and they're not free-moving characters like other cartoons would be. Like in Cars, for example, right? Cars, they can take different roads and they can do U-turns and turn around. Trains aren't really like that. So, like, I gotta give the creators, Britt Allcroft and, you know, the whole creative team behind Thomas the Tank Engine, Thomas and Friends, pretty solid creative props that, like, you took something, what is essentially like a very linear, inanimate, front and back, like forward, backwards kind of object, and, like, turned it into they're very lifelike and creative, and, yeah, I feel like if I were to write a story like this is, like, very creatively limiting the world of Thomas, or just, like, bringing trains to life at all. I feel like it's very creatively limiting, where other vehicles would be easier, and yet they did such a great job.
Gordon, peeped Emily. What's happened here? Are you being the best express in the world? I am surprised, but we must get these passengers home. Gordon just looked at his buffers and didn't say a word, as Emily went to shunt him out of the way. Right then, said Emily. Here we go.
Okay. But, what was I saying? Yeah, so I feel like trains are, like, a very creatively limiting character to bring to life like this, and I think Thomas and Friends did an amazing job. Like, Britt Allcroft and the team, the creative team behind all these movies and TV shows and books and what have you. I think they did an amazing job. And, like, books, I feel like you can get away with it a little bit easier, and maybe that's why Thomas and Friends, like, the TV series, was, like, very much based around the books, and, like, it was animated and you know, created in the style that it was. Oh, I've got quite a distance. I thought I was going to stop right up here. But, yeah, I don't know. So, but then you have other shows about trains that don't do it like that. Like, they blatantly acknowledge... I'm trying to think... I think... I've never watched Chuggington, but I know of Chuggington, and, I don't really know if they jumped the tracks, so to speak. But there was another one, something Express, I think. I don't know. I've seen of it. Like, I'm not in 2026 as a grown man. I'm not actively watching Thomas and Friends per se. But like I'm pretty aware of a lot of TV programs that are on television, both adult programs and kids programs, and I think they did some kind of, like, Chuggington kind of felt like a Thomas ripoff to me when I saw that came into existence. But I guess there's no monopoly on anthropomorphic trains. Is anthropomorphic the right word? No. But I don't know what the correct word is, so we'll say anthropomorphic. But anyway, there's no, I guess Thomas doesn't necessarily have a monopoly over such concepts or such themes. But then there was another one that, like, I acknowledged that, like, they, the trains would literally, like, jump from track to track. Like, it was very whimsical and animated and action-packed, kind of, so to speak. In a way that wasn't so front and back linear like Thomas and Friends always was. And maybe even New Thomas. I know they did a new animation style for Thomas. Maybe it was that. Maybe Thomas was also jumping from tracks and whatnot now. I don't remember. I don't know. I can't begin to say. But, yeah, that feels like an easier way, though. Like, for cars, it's so easy because, again, like, they're pretty free-moving. They can even go off-road if you want them to. What the hell? Unexpected slam on the brakes? Thanks. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Oh, God. Oh, thank God. I was not making that stop, let me tell you. But now there's another one up ahead. But that one's just the end, I think. End of the line. That was almost a terrible brake check. That almost screwed me over. I knew something like that was going to happen eventually. But not right now. Not yet, at least. This is a pretty long train. Start slowing down now. Because it's such a long train, I want to start slowing down now. But yeah, cars can do whatever. You know, they can turn on a dime, they can go off-road, they can kind of go anywhere. Trains are very limiting in terms of movement. And so to create a universe like they did with Thomas is, like, really, really impressive. All the passengers have made it to the station. We did it. Not you, Gordon. You didn't really do it. But Emily did it. Alright. Next stop. Wellsworth Station. In about 2.5 miles. Can't we just, like, leave Gordon behind somewhere? I feel like Gordon doesn't need to be part of this. Oh my god, dude, I love it. Wait, did their faces change too? They blink, dude. Or, like, wink or whatever when they blow their steam. That's so cute. I love the attention to detail, dude. I love the attention to detail. It is so sweet and lovingly crafted. I'm having so much fun, guys. The one downfall is the checkpoint system, or the lack thereof, because, like, that should have been a checkpoint right back there. So if I accidentally overshoot a, you know, a stop sign or a stop signal, it doesn't make me literally restart the entire story, which has now been going for about 20 minutes. But anyway, I digress. That's one thing that could be improved about the game. Just a quality of life update at some point. But luckily the levels are pretty short. But I mean, like 20 minutes to get all the way to the end of a 20-minute story and then have to restart it because you overshoot or like a stopping signal or whatever, like, that's a bit excessive. Even if it is a short 20-minute thing, or even a short 10-minute thing, that's still 10 minutes that you have to then, 10 minutes becomes 20 minutes because you have to redo the entirety of it, not just go back to the most recent checkpoint that you succeeded at. But anyway, I digress. Just gonna cruise on through here, stop and wait about a mile. I'm actually really excited to kind of explore after I complete the story mode here in Campaign Killer. I'm actually pretty intrigued to further explore like what the different additional game modes are here in Thomas and Friends. Wonders of Sodor. I hope I'm saying that right. I think that's the complete title. I think this stop and wait is literally just a stop signal for whatever reason. One thing they could do also, not even like, I guess it's a quality of life, but it's just like a detailed thing. Like, I was really gassed up to see the one level where we raced Birdie as Thomas. I was really gassed up to see, like, you could look out on the horizon and you could see Birdie actually physically racing you. I thought that was so cool and such a cool little detail, or attention to detail. And that just, like, really made the level for me. I feel like they could do the same thing, like, if you're gonna have these stop and wait things, I don't know why I'm going so slow. I mean, I guess I should be to some extent, but, if you're gonna be having these stop and wait things as part of just, like, to add a little bit of challenge to the game, like, that's what it seems like they kind of are for most of these levels. If you're gonna do that, like, I think it'd be extra cool if you did that and you had some reason. You know what I mean? Like the cows on the track was cool, that one level. I think having, like, if it's telling you to stop and wait, maybe, like, have a train pulling out of the station that you're about to pull into. You know what I mean? Give some kind of reason, like, visible reason as to why you have to stop and wait. Not just because, you know, oh, red light up ahead, because, you know, we don't want to just have you racing between station to station. We want to have it operate more or less like a real functioning railroad. Alright, we still gotta stop and wait. See, like that right there where it's at stop and wait, it'd be cool if there was like another train pulling into the station or something like that we had to stop and wait for. Like, to avoid a collision or something like that. Just an idea. I think it just adds to, like, kind of the whimsy of the game and everything, but what's also cool is, like, back in the day, when I was a kid, I had a bunch of, like, Thomas the Tank Engine toys, like the wooden railroad, or train tracks, train sets, whatever. And then they also had, like, metal die-cast ones. I don't know if they still do. I hope they still do. I think Thomas is still, like, just as big in 2026 as he was when I was a kid, which is really kind of cool. I mean, shit, we're playing the game, right? There's a video game for adults-ish, kind of. I think a kid could play this, but it is, like, as a simulation game, I don't know if kids would really be into it. It's not even that a kid can't play it. It's that, like, I don't really know if a kid would be into it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if this is the kind of game that the average Thomas the Tank Engine audience member is into. And that's what I've been kind of echoing from the beginning. It doesn't really make sense that this game exists. I'm very, very happy that it exists. I'm having so much fun. But it doesn't really make sense. But then, now that I think about it, there's also, like, a dedicated audience, I know. Like, I don't know what the deal is or why it is. But there is, like, I think I saw a documentary, actually, that released, I think, kind of recently. Or maybe it even hasn't even released yet. I'm not totally sure. But there's, like, a dedicated audience of, like, adults that grew up with Thomas that still are, like, super fans, or, like, Thomas super fans. I'll have to watch the documentary and see what the deal is. Maybe it is just, like, childish whimsy, or just an appreciation. I mean, like, it's kind of like Mr. Rogers to some degree. Hey, there's Thomas. I love that, dude. I love that so much. Thank you for making this game. And that attention to detail. I can toot at other trains as I drive by, and they toot back. But, I have such a big internal smile right now. Y'all have no idea. I'm literally cheesing over a Thomas game right now. As a 30-year-old man. But, what was I saying? Yeah, lost complete train of thought there. No pun intended. Lost my train of thought. Haha. Anyway. Making dad jokes while playing Thomas the Tank Engine. Yeah. Lost my train of thought. I feel like I should have like some kind of AI thing listening to my speech as I'm talking and just reminding me, like, keeping me on track again, so to speak. Keeping me on track with my train of thought. Anyway, I feel like that would be a good tool. Of all the horrible things that AI is, like, becoming known for, I feel like that would be a good tool for idiots like me with ADHD, where I just start going off on tangents. Like, I just, like, a little thing would come up on my computer, like, bing! By the way, you were talking about this. Don't go too far off the tracks. Or off the rails. They just keep coming. They just keep coming. Dad jokes for days, guys. Dad jokes for days. Full circle, because I'm just remembering now what this originally was, what this conversation originally started as. When I was a kid, we had wooden and metal Thomas the Tank Engine toys, and that I'm sure still exist, like I said. But it's cool. It's not giving me. There we go. As I look at the foliage and, like, the colors of the trees and the leaves and everything, it really does look like some of the metal die-cast toys and, like, the wooden painting, or the painted wooden toys from Thomas the Tank Engine sets that I had as a kid. Like the bright reds and oranges and light greens, and like maybe like the creators of I've got to slow down and stop just taking in the majesty of the area. Maybe the game creators were just like, oh yeah, it's fall in this area, so we're just going to use these colors, and these are very fall colors, you know? But maybe, just maybe, I'd like to believe that they actually took into account what old Thomas the Tank Engine toys used to look like, or maybe still do look like. And they took the exact color palettes that were once used, or maybe still are used. And maybe in the cartoon, too. I like to believe that the game developers took it that step further and really put love and passion in this game, because it feels like they did. But yeah, that whole tangent was just because of that. I just wanted to acknowledge the color palettes used for these trees remind me one-to-one of what my old Thomas the Tank Engine toys used to look like. And it's really, really sweet. It's a real sweet touch. There's something else I was saying, too. Yeah, the documentary. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, I know there are Disney adults. You know what I mean? They're Disney adults. A material that was typically created, or content that was typically created for children. That we all grew up with, you know? And for that reason, I suppose, the nostalgia, the whimsy, the simplicity, the evergreen themes. I think I was going to reference Mr. Rogers earlier, and I think Thomas is kind of like that, where it's like the messages that are being shared in the stories of Thomas the Tank Engine are evergreen. Yes, they're tailored, they're explained in a way that is for children, that is simple to understand, but like friendship and sharing and not being a, cheeky jerk. These are all, and patience and whatnot, and not having too much pride to do things like that you see as beneath you. Those are all evergreen stories and themes that resonate with adults as well. Maybe it should resonate with more adults, quite frankly.
Well done, Emily. How do you feel pulling an express train again?
It was great, sir. But it's certainly been a busy day.
Well, you deserve a nice long rest in the sheds.
Thank you, sir, beamed Emily with pride.
All right. But yeah, I think, I don't know. So I guess I can kind of see, like, Thomas adults as, like, I don't want to say the male equivalent of, I guess, like, my generation, boys grew up playing with Thomas, right? More than girls did. Now it's pretty cool. Now I think everybody can enjoy Thomas, because of course you can, because it's Thomas. Thomas is great. But yeah, I guess like Thomas adults now feel kind of like Disney adults, but like the male version of, I think Disney adults are typically female. Not all, but like I would argue that predominantly the most of the Disney adults that I've ever met have been females. And then I would argue, I think, I don't know, but I remember seeing the trailer for the documentary. It seemed like it was mostly males that were like Thomas adults. So maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just the simplicity and the nostalgia and the good feelings of, what the message is behind these stories. I don't know. I'll have to watch the documentary if it's out. Seems kind of interesting now, with all things considered. But next up, branching out. Looks like a diesel mission. Let's do it.